welcome back. This is going to be my RU and NU picks for the Showdown League Season 2, 2017 Pokemon Draft League. I have obviously, as I mentioned in the previous video, 3 picks from each tier. These are going to be my sort of lower tier Mons that I picked up for various reasons, either to support my team or just to play different roles on the draft each week. I don't know how often some of these will get used, but I promise you I'll use everything at least a couple of times. I always do. Um, any Pokemon can work in draft because you know what your opponent has beforehand. You can always build a set that's going to do something each week. And my first Pokemon that I picked up in RU, which I actually pulled this before I got my last couple of UU Mons. I went ahead and dropped down to RU and picked up Roserade because it is, I think, one of the best RU Pokemon in draft format. Can go offensive with that base 125 special attack, base 90 speed. Obviously, that's going to hit hard. You get access to some good grass coverage, good poison coverage with Sludge Bomb, hidden power types. You can do all kinds of offensive stuff. At the same time, you can do a cleric set with aromatherapy. You can run spikes. You can run toxic spikes. It gets access to reliable recovery thanks to synthesis. Just kind of does all kinds of different stuff. Really solid support mon, really solid attacker. Just across the board, reasonably bulky in special defense as well. So it's kind of just a really good Pokemon. It's one of the best grass types, I think, as far as value picks go, because it's a grass type from RU that can still hang with the OU and NU Mons if it needs to, as long as you play it well. So that kind of lets me round off my Fire Water Grass core, this Alola Marowak Tapu Fini. Gives me just a really solid core with that. Just all around really solid mon. The last 2 draft leagues that I've done, both seasons of my last draft league, I wanted to pick Roserade and it always got sniped before I could get to it. Someone else would always take it. So I went ahead and dropped down to RU and went ahead and pulled it this time around just so I'd be sure that I had it pretty early. And then, like, 2 rounds later, someone else tried to pick Roserade and they just sat there for like 30 minutes insisting that it hadn't been taken yet. There was no way that it was already taken. And I had already taken it. It was already in the spreadsheet that I had taken it because I went down super early and grabbed it up because it's a good Pokemon. And I think it's going to put in a lot of work this season. It's just a really solid grass type. I like running entry hazards in draft. I like having something that can run pretty much every entry hazard somewhere on my draft. I don't have to bring them every week, but that option is always nice because a lot of people will have drafts that are weak to entry hazards. And so being able to run spikes or toxic spikes, like having a good setter for both of those in Roserade is just really solid on top of the great grass type that it already is. So I went ahead and picked up Roserade, and then I picked up this Pokemon, Durant, which I used in my first season of Draft League. It worked relatively well then, and I think it's going to work really well this season as well. This was my last really hard-hitting nuke that I picked up. Obviously, Hustle Boost is really important with that base 109 attack, 109 speed. You can hit incredibly hard from the physical side. You get good coverage with X-Scissor, Iron Head, Thunder Fang, Rock Slide, Crunch, Superpower, all in the move pool. You get some decent support options with like Thunder Wave, so you can do that if you really want to. Decent physical defense. Obviously the special defense on the other hand is non-existent, but Durant's kind of like a really solid physical glass cannon. One of the better offensive steel types, I think. Base 109 speed is not insanely fast, but it's really solid in draft because there's a lot of really common draft mons that are base 108. Galvantula is base 108, Infernape is base 108, Terrakion, Cobalion, those are all base 108. And a lot of the common base 110 mons that would normally threaten it out, like the Mega Laddies, are not legal in draft right now. So I went ahead and picked it up because I knew it was going to outspeed a lot of common things that I was going to be up against. and hit really hard. And with the support of speed control, thanks to Pelipper, as well as another mon that you're going to see down the road, which has speed control um, and the ability to prevent status, I think Durant can kind of run shop against a lot of teams and just hit things and just sweep through teams until eventually it goes down. Obviously, it gets access to multiple boosting moves with Hone Claws and Agility to boost up its speed, its attack, its accuracy if I want to avoid those hustle misses. Durant is kind of like Mega Medicham in that it's a Pokemon you have to believe in. You have to trust that it's going to hit those moves when it counts, because if it gets a hustle miss at the wrong time, it can cost you the game. But as long as you believe in it, I think Durant can really hang with even OU Mons relatively well. Super difficult to switch into, has a lot of options that it can run, hits incredibly hard. I know from my first season that I played this Pokemon, Choice Band Superpower from Durant actually one-shots Registeel. If that gives you any perspective on just how insanely hard this thing hits, that it can one-shot one of the bulkiest steel types there is in one go, which is really good. It's just a really solid Pokemon. And like I said, it kind of just kills things until eventually it gets a hustle miss. And I think it's going to work well this season. I know that I'm going to be using it in at least a fair number of matches, as I always do when I have it. It's just a good mon. It's just a good mon, and I really love it. I really love using this thing. I'm a huge fan of Durant. And then my last RU pick was Noivern. By this point in the draft, it was obvious that like I didn't have a whole lot of speed, and I could run speed control with like Pelipper, or I could pick up a Sticky Web user, but I really just wanted things that would be able to be naturally fast too. And I also knew that I was going to have problems with Substitute, because I had all of these really hard-hitting like nuke Pokemon, like, you know, Alola Marowak, Mega Medicham, Durant, Hydreigon, Xurkitree. But I knew that like if my opponent's just going to sub up every turn, that doesn't matter. And so I needed something that could reliably beat Substitute, as well as be really fast. And so I picked up a couple of mons here. I picked up Noivern and I picked up Cinccino, both of which fill that role quite well. Noivern base 123 speed, Cinccino base 115 speed, both quite fast, both have the potential to run Scarf to get even faster. Noivern, of course, has great coverage, Draco Meteor, Hurricane, Heat Wave, all kinds of different options like that it can do. It also has a fast Taunt, it has a fast U-turn, it could go Tailwind, I think, if I really wanted it to. It can just do a lot of different things. Support-wise, it can hit reasonably hard with a Life Orb or with Choice Specs. Just a really fast mon. It gets access to Infiltrator, like I said, so it can break subs. It just gives me a lot of support for the team, gives me a lot of speed, which I really like. Yes, it is a second Dragon type, but like I don't think there's any reason not to have two Dragon types in draft if the Pokemon themselves are really good. Dragon's a good type. Even after Fairy was introduced, Dragon's still a really solid type. They both get good coverage. They can both play very different roles on a team. I have no reason not to bring double Dragons. I don't have to bring them every single week either, so like it kind of balances out in that way. So I don't care that I'm running double Dragons, and I think Noivern can still put in a lot of work. And then Cinccino is obviously also a fast mon, can kind of do some support stuff with like Thunder Wave, Knockoff, U-turn, different things like that. Hits reasonably hard because of Skill Link, and Skill Link Stab Tail Slap is hitting incredibly hard, even through subs, because it's going to break the sub with the multi-hits. Obviously, Rock Blast and Bullet Seed, same thing, going to hit really hard, give me coverage. The only type that really walls Cinccino is Steel. Obviously, there's not much Cinccino can do to Steel types, but I already had some other things like Mega Medicham and Alola Marowak that hit Steel types super, super hard. Cinccino can go Scarf, it can go Banded, it can run a King's Rock set, and of course with good hacks RNG, the King's Rock set can flinch through entire teams. I think Cinccino is one of the few in Mons that, with a little bit of luck, can really, really compete in OU. It's still a giant threat, even though it's in this low tier. It can still hang with a lot of really good Mons. It gets access to some decent coverage with like Gunk Shot for the ability to hit fairies. Just across the board, I think Chinchino is a really solid mon. Gets access to Aqua Tail too. I should go ahead and mention that for water coverage. Just a really solid mon. Fast, breaks subs, has that skill link, so it can do a lot of damage. Just really solid. I think it plays an important role in the team in that sense. It's like a fast pivot, fast scout. And then we go to the polar opposite end of the spectrum for my second to last pick, which is Shuckle. I used Shuckle in my last season of Pokemon Draft, for anyone who wasn't following that. And it actually worked amazingly well. I managed to play this thing super well pretty much every week that I brought it. It would pick up at least, a lot of damage on some things on top of being able to set up hazards. I'd get sticky webs up, I'd get rocks up. It can do knockoff, it can do a trapping set with infestation. Obviously, like a rest set is still kind of viable. It can toxic stall things down. It gets access to a couple of really solid abilities. It's not commonly like going to get one-shotted anyway, so Sturdy's not super helpful, but Gluttony is like a good mix-up along with Sturdy for the ability to get those early berries. Like you can run an early Figgy Berry or an early Custap Berry. Last season, I think one week I actually used Final Gambit Custap Shuckle for like initiative against Zygarde, because I knew Zygarde was going to try and set up on me that week, and so that actually worked, and I'm amazed that happened, but it played out super well, and so I was able to like set up hazards and then toxic the Zygarde, and then even though it tried to trap me in, I was able to go down with Final Gambit and bring something in to finish it off, which worked really well. So Shuckle can do a lot of things. Like it's bulky. It's a bulky hazard setter. It gives me sticky webs, which I really wanted another option for speed control if I didn't want to bring Pelipper one week, and I still needed that speed control, so I went ahead and grabbed Shuckle for that. And even if they bring like a hazard cleaner, like a Defogger or a Rapid Spinner, obviously sticky web from Shuckle, it's so bulky that it sticks around for so long that I can set it up multiple times if I really have to. So it's just a really solid like bulky support mon that I can bring a couple of weeks. It's probably not something I'm going to bring every week, but I know that it can work really well with my team. So I went ahead and grabbed it, because by this point I had pretty much my priority bases already covered. And then I grabbed my last mon, which has been the star of my draft league for the last 2 seasons, and I wanted to bring it back again for a 3rd season, which is my Hitmontop. It was either draft Hitmontop or draft Exploud. This was the second to last pick of the entire draft league. There were only me and one other person left to pull our last mons, and the person who picked after me actually picked Exploud, so I'm kind of disappointed I didn't pick Exploud, just because it would have sniped this last person. And it would have worked well with sticky webs and all the speed control that I have, because Exploud is like a nice nuke. But I really wanted something that could be like a good backup hazard cleaner, because I don't want to have to run Defog on Tapu Fini every week. And Hitmontop can obviously is a good rapid spinner that can also do other things. It can run an Assault Vest set. It can run like a bulky attacker set. It can go and do like a stall set with Rest Toxic. I know that exists. Intimidate's really nice, as well as Technician. Those are both really great abilities, especially in draft. It gives access to a lot of priority, because I didn't have a whole lot of priority on my team at this point. The only thing I really had was like Fake Out for Mega Medicham. But this thing does Technician Fake Outs, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch. I think it gets Sucker Punch as well. Like, it just gives me the whole gambit of common priority moves, and can hit reasonably hard with all of them. It kind of plays like a low-tier Conkeldurr with access to Rapid Spin, which is a really nice trade-off. And I think I said this before, back when I pulled it in my last league, even though it was RU at that time, I still said it was one of the best value picks in the entire league. Now that it's dropped down to NU for me to pick it here, I think it is an even better value pick, because it can still hang with some of the absolute best mons in the game, because it is so bulky, it hits hard, it gets good supporting moves. Just across the board, it's very solid. It gets access to Edgequake coverage. so that hits a lot of the metagame pretty hard, as well as like those close combats, those high jump kicks. It can also do speed control thanks to bulldoze. It just does a little bit of everything. Like an assault vest set with intimidate means that it's going to be like a good mixed wall. It just does, like I said, it just does so much stuff. Um, and at this point, there wasn't a whole lot left on my team that I really felt like I needed. I thought I kind of had most of my bases covered, so I went ahead and just drafted something that I knew would be good as like a backup option 1 week. And you know, if I ever don't want to run hazard clearance on Tapu Fini, this is another option that I've got to just sort of play that role. Or if it's, you know, if I'm up against something that obviously is like a poison type that's going to use toxic spikes, then I don't want to bring Tapu Fini into that because it'll hit Tapu Fini really hard. This gives me another option for that too. So I think Hitmontop's going to put in work. It always does. It's been, like I said, the star in my draft league the last 2 seasons. One of my absolute favorite mons in the entire game. I always enjoy using this thing, and I never feel like I really have a bad experience with it. So I just wanted to pull it again to kind of anchor the team once again going into this new season, and I'm super excited to use it. A lot of these mons, of the 12 mons that I picked, 5 of them are returning mons from previous draft leagues. The other 7 are brand new to me. I've used Hitmontop, Shuckle, Chinchino, Durant, and Xurkitree before. All the rest of these mons are brand new. I've never played them in draft before. Some of them I've never played at all, and I'm super excited to try them out and see how this team works. I don't feel like it's quite as threatening as my last draft was. I thought my last draft covered a lot more bases in general and was just like had a little bit more as far as flexibility to it. But I think this draft has plenty of options. Like I have a lot of really good attackers. I have a lot of really good support mons. I can bring a hazard stacking team 1 week. I have bulk. I have hyper offense. I have the ability to do pretty much whatever I want with this draft if it really comes down to it. I have a lot of coverage. I can sweep through most teams. I have some good setup mons, good anti-setup mons. Just I think across the board, like this is a solid draft. It's not gonna be, you know, super broken. It's not gonna be like, you know, win the whole thing level good, I don't think. Partially just because I'm not that good of a battler to win an entire league. But I definitely think this is a solid draft. It's a draft that, you know, has a lot of heart. It has a lot of mons that like you have to believe in. You know, Chinchino, Durant, Noivern is liable to miss, Mega Medicham, Xurkitree. Those are all mons that you really have to put your faith in and trust that they'll be able to carry you through when the time comes for them to make those big plays. But I always have faith in my Pokemon. I always believe that that my Pokemon have what it takes to win a match, even if I don't necessarily believe in myself. I always believe in my Pokemon and their abilities, and I have faith that together we can put in a lot of work this season. I'm going to be playing my round 2 match relatively soon. I've already played my round 1 match. I don't want to spoil how that went because I'm going to be posting that video around the same time that I post these 2 analysis videos. So you'll see it then. You'll see how I did. I feel like I played pretty well, but again, I don't want to spoil it for you. This was a really fun match, though. Just know that much. My round 2 match, I'm a lot more worried about because there's a lot of mons that just really give my team a lot of issue. If I can win my round 2 match, then I feel like I can beat any team this season because it's objectively, I think, one of the most threatening drafts in the entire league this season to my team specifically. So I'm really looking forward to playing that and just seeing how that goes. But like I said, you know, across the board, really happy with the mons that I got this time. Super happy to be trying out Mecha Medicham, super happy to be trying out Tapu Fini and Alola Marowak. Really glad that I finally got access to Roserade. Cool to see Xurkitree and Durant and Chinchino and Hitmontop all come back for a season and really kind of work together. Some of my mons from Season 1 and Season 2 all sort of putting in work at the same time. So that'll be interesting. I don't usually run a lot of good dragons, so having Hydreigon and Noivern is going to be a nice change, because that's usually one of the things that I don't pick up in draft, is like a powerful dragon. at least not like as a priority option. So I'll be interested to try this set out and see kind of what I can get out of it. I think it's gonna go well. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun. So I'll see you guys later. Hopefully around the time this goes up, you'll also see my week 1 and week 2 matches, and you can kind of see exactly how the format plays out. And I think it'll be really fun for everyone. Hope you enjoy the videos. Hope you enjoy following me this season, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Peace.